mango would throw a whole country into obsession, becoming a powerful symbol of hope, loyalty, and cause worshipping. Welcome to the story of one of the most bizarre events to ever take place, about how a mango went from a humble fruit into a cultural icon of China, making and changing history forever. 50 years ago, China was plunged into the most chaotic and traumatic decade of its recent history, the Cultural Revolution. During this period, the nation was gripped by a particular hysteria, a mania for mangoes. The mangoes represented the hope and faith of the traumatized people during one of the most violent periods in China's history. Mango fever lasted for around a year before vanishing from official propaganda. Many young Chinese people were sent to the countryside to learn the herd life of the peasants. This power shift from the zealous students to the workers to the peasants offered respite from the anarchy. In May of 1966, Chairman Mao launched the Cultural Revolution, the 10-year political campaign that was aimed at reviving the revolutionary spirit and purging the country of imperial elements. The same year, Mao called on the Red Guards, which were a student-led paramilitary group, to rebel against reactionary authorities. His goal was to reshape society by purging it of its bogus elements and traditional ways of thinking. But by the summer of 1968, the country had become engulfed in fighting. As the Red Guard factions competed for power, Chinese Red Guards had brought the country to the brink of chaos. Over 1,700 students and administrators died in the 2 months in Beijing alone, and factions of students were in open battle in the city's Tsinghua University. To put an end to the forces that he had unleashed, Mao sent 30,000 workers to Tsinghua University in Beijing, armed with only the talisman, the Little Red Book. The students attacked them with spears and sulfur acid, killing 5 and injuring more than 700 before finally surrendering. Over Mao's whole reign, millions of people were prosecuted and killed. A week later, the Palestinian foreign minister visited Beijing and presented Chairman Mao with a basket of mangoes. As Benjamin Lamb found out, Mao sent the approximately 30 or so mangoes onto workers at Tsinghua as a thank you, which led to a national-wide passion for the fruit. The gift Mao gave was from the Palestine foreign minister, which he had gotten the day before. The gift was interpreted as an act of selflessness, and the mango became synonymous with the chairman and a symbol of his love for the workers. At the time, most Chinese people hadn't heard of mangoes before, so they didn't fully understand what it was. The few who had heard of it said it was a fruit of extreme rarity, like mushrooms of immortality. Little did they know that he disliked fruit, nor were they concerned to learn that Mao had simply passed on a gift that he had received. There is a tradition in China of regifting. It may be regarded as bad in the West, but in China, regifting is widely seen as a compliment, enhancing the status of both the gifter and the receiver. To bring the students under control, Mao founded Worker-Peasant Mao Thought Propaganda Group and ordered these mangoes to be given at Tsinghua University. The political message of the gift was clear. Workers, not students, would be in charge of the Cultural Revolution. The symbol was quickly adapted, and the mangoes were bussed into provincial towns and exhibit in public. Display cases like this one were given to workers as a merit reward. There was a 19 69 propaganda posters showing Mao and the details of a worker with a plate of mangoes. No one in North China at that point knew what mangoes were, so workers stayed up all night looking at them, smiling, caressing, and wondering what the magical fruit was, says art historian Frederick Mudwick, who has chronicled this story in detail. Once they realized people were going crazy for fruit, the Communist Party propaganda department quickly set to work creating thousands of mango-themed cotton fabric. Massive papier-mâché mangoes appeared on the central floats during the National Day Parade in Beijing in October 1968. Armed peasants even fought over black and white copies of the photograph of the mango in Guizhou province. They also made mango-themed items such as bedsheets, vanity stands, emerald trays, and wash basins, as well as mango-scented soap and even mango-flavored cigarettes. China has a long history of symbolic associations with food, which may have encouraged the extravagant interpretation of Mao's gift. The mangoes were compared to the mushrooms of immortality and the longevity peach of Chinese mythology. The workers amassed that Mao's gift was an act of selflessness in which he sacrificed his own longevity for theirs. But not everyone was so ecstatic about the fruit. The artist, the Zhang Hongtu, told me of his skepticism. Those who expressed their doubts, however, were severely punished. A village dentist, for example, was publicly humiliated and executed after comparing the cherry mango to a sweet potato. At the same time, they had received a high directive from Chairman Mao saying that henceforth the working class must exercise leadership in everything. It was very exciting to be given this kind of recognition. This power shift from the zealous students to the workers and peasants offered respite from the anarchy. Some people in Beijing told me that they perceived Mao had finally intervened in the chaotic, random violence and that the mango symbolized the end of the Cultural Revolution, Muck said. John Curry, a worker who occupied Quinoa, said that the arrival of one of Mao's mangoes as workplace prompted tense debate. The military representative came into a factory with the mango raised in both hands. We discussed what to do with it, whether to split it among us and eat it or preserve it. Finally, we decided to preserve it, he said. We found a hospital that put it in formaldehyde. We made it a specimen. That was the first decision that was made. They handled the real mango like it was a precious gem and something more prized than human life. The second decision was to make wax mangoes, each with a glass cover. After we made the wax replicas, we gave one to each of the revolutionary workers. Workers were expected to hold the sacred fruit with dignity and respect, and they were in trouble if they failed to do so. Wang Xiaoping, an employee at the Beijing No. 1 machine tool plant, received a wax replica. The fruit itself was destined for higher things. The real mango was driven by a worker representative through the percussion of beating drums and people lining the street. From factory to airport, said Wang. The workers had chartered a plane to fly the single mango to a factory in Shanghai. When one of the mangoes began to rot, workers peeled it and boiled the flesh in a tub of water, which then would become whole. Each worker sipped a spoonful of it. Mao said to have chuckled on hearing this particular detail. From the very beginning, the mango gift took on a relic-like quality to be revered and even worshipped. said Cambridge University lecturer Adam U. Chow. Not only was the mango a gift from the chairman, it was the chairman. The mango toured the length and bandwidth of the country and were hosted in a series of sacred percussion. Red gods had red temples and shrines, but destroying artifacts was easier than erasing religious behavior, and soon the mango became the object of intense devotion. Some of the ruins imitated centuries of Buddhist and Taoist traditions, and the mangoes were even placed on an altar to which the factory workers could bow. This association is reflected in a poem from the period. Seeing the golden mango was as if seeing the great leader, Chairman Mao, standing before that golden mango was just like standing beside Chairman Mao. Again and again touching that golden mango. The golden mango was so warm. Again and again smelling the mango. That golden mango was so fragrant. That golden mango was so fragrant. The mango fever fizzled out after 18 months. Soon discarded wax replicas were becoming used as candles during electrical outages. On a visit to Beijing in 1947, in 1974, Madame Marcos took a case of Filipino national fruit, which was mangoes, as a gift to her host. Mao's wife, John Ching, known as Madame Mao in the West, tried to replicate the early enthusiasm, sending the mangoes to the workers. They dutifully held a ceremony and gave thanks, but John Ching lacked her husband's sense of political timing. The following year, as Mao lay ill and with no clear successor in sight, his wife commissioned a new film, Song of the Mango, to enhance her credibility. Within a few weeks of its release, John was arrested and jailed for political activities in Shanghai, so the film was taken out of circulation. It was the final chapter in the mango story. Now mangoes are common fruit in Beijing and have lost most, if not all, of their Maoism symbolism, but they are becoming an increasingly popular and more costly. The mystery of the mango is gone, she tells me. It's no longer a sacred icon as before. It's become another consumer good. Young people don't know the history, but for those of us who live through it, every time you think of mangoes, your heart has a special feeling. Maui liked the mangoes he gave. The workers now lie preserved in wax in a crystal glass case. Historians have tended to regard the mango craze as a bizarre fad, but it was one of the few occasions where culture was created spontaneously from bottom up, initiated and interpreted by the workers during a period of great cruelty. The mangoes represented for people an embodiment of peace and generosity. They wanted to believe the promise written on the emerald trays, with each mango profound kindness. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel below if you want to see more history videos like this one.